Thomas Jefferson School is a small boarding and day school for boys and girls located here in the suburbs of Sunset Hills. We're kind of suburbs of St. Louis. When the school was founded, this was the countryside. And we're housed an old home built in the early 20s by a banker. It was on the market in 1946 when the people who started the school came to St. Louis to find a place to locate. Their first goal was to create in the Midwest a top-level academic boarding school like some of the famous ones that you hear about in the Northeast. And what they created was a school that did have some of the highest academic standards in the country, and we've always maintained that, but also has remained small so that it remains very personal, so that every student gets individual attention, so the whole faculty knows every child. So what I've described really is the niche that I see the school as filling, which is the niche of a very challenging, intellectually meaningful education that's hard to find most places, but within the context of a very personal, close community where everybody is an important part of the whole.
I think TJ's definition of academic rigor is a really special one in that the bar is high, the expectations are great, but it's also very focused on the classical curriculum, so every student knows where he or she's headed.
I think we have a lot of very sharp men and women who teach here and are able to make very difficult books graspable for our students. I like to tell the students that I have never taught in a classroom. I perform in a classroom, but I teach in my office. And I never would have thought that until I came here because the only models of teaching I had were my own high school experience and study in the university. Here, however, because everything is so small and the students are, well, not forced to see us, more or less expected to when they have trouble, I think I learn more about my kids in my office or in the gym talking about a homework problem or in the dining hall.
We give the kids a equally strong grounding in all of the main areas. The two perhaps most important pillars are English, with both grammar and writing practice and lots of literature and discussion of it on the one hand, and mathematics on the other hand. The level of difficulty of the upper grades is defined by the advanced placement system, where they take an AP course is supposed to be like a freshman college course. It's the most challenging level that subject is normally taught in a high school in America. And that's how we teach all our subjects to juniors and seniors.
But with a very healthy, small class enrollment of 10 to 12 kids on average, it seems, maybe even fewer, there's a lot of opportunity for kids to participate. And I think the more they speak, the more they find is actually inside of themselves, and they're able to convince themselves that they are quite gifted and quite talented.
Well, we're trying to make kids comfortable with the kind of work and the kind of thinking and analysis that they're going to meet when they go to top-level colleges and universities.
The kids aren't just looked after. The kids are developed here. They're trained to think here, and they're more than ready to attack the world, whether it's in college or somewhere else, by the time they get out of here.
Our literature and everything about the school expresses the idea of independence. And this is what often attracts them to our school and often what keeps them here.
My daughter has always appreciated and enjoyed. She's relished small classroom size and a lot of teacher attention, as well as the ability to herself be independent enough to express her opinions and be accepted and respected for that.
They really like the lifestyle, and they really like the autonomy that they have. I don't know another school that offers classes all in the morning, which are relatively short. They're focused, they're active, they're discussion-based in every single subject, and the student then can focus and hit their attention span for those class periods for the morning, punctuated by a couple of free periods when they can take a break and change books and get a snack. And then the classes are over by lunchtime. In the afternoon, they're much more autonomous. They have some appointments to meet. They have an athletic period at a certain time in the afternoon. Depending on the day, they may have a lab or an interest group meeting like the newspaper, something like that. They may have an appointment with their advisor, but they're in charge of balancing those out.
The children here learn, each of them on their own way, because each child is unique, that they must learn use of their time. They utilize their time properly. And there's a time to rest, and there's a time to play, and there's a time to work. And of course, a lot of adults don't learn that. And for children in high school, and maybe 7th, 8th graders learn that, it's a very unique opportunity.
So by the time a child graduates from TJ, they really have much more practice at time management and self-direction and self-discipline than most, and living with other kids than most students would.
But the third ingredient is their peer group, the community that they live with. And I think that's equally important because kids actually learn more from their peers. They certainly pay more attention to their peers than they do to adults. If the peers are saying the right things and have the right motivation and the right spirit, then that's going to help the younger kids as they come along and find their own way.
And it's real, it's not contrived and it's not put on. Everyone is welcomed and everyone is considered part of the family here, and that is the attitude that is taken, is that everyone has something to give.
And a lot of this is kind of unsaid. It isn't like there's a list on the wall. It just is part of the culture here.
If you're a 7th grader, you might hang out with the 9th graders and nobody really notices because we're all like a family, which is the nice thing about it, because if you have a problem, you can go to somebody who's older than you and who's been here longer or knows the ropes. And that's one of the great ways that it's a community.
One of the questions that I think parents have, I remember having it myself, I remember talking frequently with other parents who have the concern about can an environment this small have a wide enough spectrum, not only of academics, but of other kinds of activities. And I have two very different children. They both really thrived in the setting.
I would say that overall our activities are to expand or expose the kids to a wide diversity of opportunities, from things that they would consider just fun, like a baseball game, to things that might seem more like part of the curriculum, like going to a play at the Rep, mixed in with rock climbing, hockey games, and jazz concerts. So they learn hip hop, they learn watercolor, they learn how to shoot a good free throw, and how to play bridge and make jewelry. So a little of everything.
It's really quite interesting because almost at every other school I've been to, like at lunch, the teachers will be sitting at their own separate table and just be eating lunch. Whereas here at TJ, we all eat lunch in the same room. The teachers will sit at the tables and you can have perfectly normal conversations with them.
That's one thing that kids have always liked here, is that they met other people who also liked to read and think and learn. They like sports, they like music, they like movies, but they also like to learn.
The reason students come here is that they want to take responsibility for their education. They want to be able to plan their time, have some freedom in deciding what I'm going to work on now, instead of just sitting in a classroom and listening to a teacher. And if that's something that interests you, give me a call. Let's make arrangements for you to come and observe classes and meet some of our kids.